I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on calculus. In this video, we are talking about questions from previous test paper. Let me thank my student Shruti for sharing her test paper with us. We'll take up question number 5 from this calculus, trigonometry of log and exponential functions test paper. Question number 5 is, the position function of article should be particle, okay, moving in a straight line is s of t equals to 5 by 2 e to the power of 2t minus 5 by 2. How far does the particle travel during the time when the velocity increases from 5 to 15 units? You can always pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. It seems to be a simple question, but it's one of the most difficult questions which I've come across. It's kind of unique also. What we are given here is displacement s of t is equal to 5 over 2 e to the power of 2t minus 5 over 2. We need to find how far the particle travel during the time when the velocity increases from 5 to 15 units. So first thing is we need to find what was the time when the velocity was 5 and what was the time when the velocity was 15. Now this is an exponential function, so it will always be increasing, correct? Okay, so let's find the derivative of this function, and we know velocity is the first derivative for the displacement function. So what we get here is 5 over 2 times derivative of 2t is 2 e to the power of t, and that is 0. Right. So the derivative is basically the velocity, which is equal to 2 and 2 cancel. We get 5 e to the power of 2t e to the power of 2t, right? So that becomes the derivative. We're given when velocity increases from 5 to 15 units. So if the velocity is 5, then what is the time? Let's figure this out. So we have 5 e to the power of 2t dividing, we get 1 equals to e to the power of 2t, and clearly that means t should be equal to 0. So we get the time t equal to 0 when the velocity was 5 units. Perfect. So that is one thing. Now let us find the time when the velocity reached 15. When it was 15, well, the equation is 5 e to the power of 2t dividing, we get 15 over 5, which is 3, right, equals to e to the power of 2t. To solve, let's take log. So let's take ln, since we are working with e. So ln here will be e to the power of 2t will be equal to 2t, right? So we get ln 3 equals to 2 times t, or half of ln 3 is equal to t. So that means the duration which we are talking about is basically from t equals to 0 to t equals to half of ln 3, right? So we need to find the difference between the displacement when it was time was this half ln 3, take away displacement when it initially started. That's what we need to figure out. Okay, so let's find these displacements. The very first one is, let's write down s of this, which is half ln 3, substituting in the given equation, which is 5 over 2 e to the power of 2 times half ln 3 minus 5 by 2. Okay, so that gives you, that is that cancels 2 and this, we get ln 3. E to the power of ln 3 is 3, right? So what we get here is 15 minus 5 over 2, right? So let's write down here. We get this as 15 over 2 minus 5 by 2. which is 10 over 2 or 5, correct? So we get 5 as displacement when the value of s is half ln 3. Now let us also find the displacement when time is 0. So when I substitute 0 here, we get 5 over 2 e to the power of 0, right, minus 5 over 2. So that is, we get 5 over 2 minus 5 over 2, and that is 0. And therefore, the displacement in this particular case will be how much? So the displacement will be 5 minus 0, which is 5. Perfect. So we have 5 units. Well, velocity and this cannot have the same units. So anyway, displacement units. Let me write like this, right? So the answer will be 5 displacement units in this particular case. So I hope you understand what we did. We basically found the time when the velocity was 5 units and 15 units. We found that it was 5 units at t equals to 0, 15 at t equals to half ln 3. At these two times, we found the displacement, and the distance will be, I should write distance, so many displacement units or distance, right? So the distance is distance between those 2 points. So how far the particle traveled. So basically we're talking about distance traveled. So let me write, distance traveled will be 5 units. We'll write distance units, correct? So that will be the final answer for this. I hope that makes sense. Also look at our other solutions to this test paper. Complete solution set will be posted tomorrow. Thanks for your time and all the best.